Welcome back to episode 168 of the Gun and Guns podcast. I'm your host, Troy.
And I'm your other host, Doug.
We use this podcast to talk about God, guns, and the responsible Christian gun owners' interest. On this week's show, we'll be talking about Doug's Ducktastic trip.
Ducktastic. That's what I'm talking about.
Tell us all about it, Doug. How'd you have a good time?
Oh man, we had a blast. We were 10 days. We were gone and just had a fun time, man.
Awesome.
It's all about the ducks.
All right. Thank you for being with sponsor, Farms Real Network.
Thank you, Jake.
Jake. Yep. And
also Crossbreed holsters. If you're carrying a gun on your person, you need to be carrying in a cross. Crossbreedholsters.com.
Cool. So if you guys are watching this on YouTube, this is our first Google Hangout. And if you're listening to it on the podcast, have survived the Google Hangout. That's a learning and teaching experience. So if it's really not able to be used, just have the audio like we usually do. But as you guys who have maybe seen me on Google Hangouts before, some of the other Farms Real Network shows, I've got a different background behind me. I'm in my underground bunker at an undisclosed location.
The bunker.
And the reason we have we're trying to do Google Hangouts is because I now have like real internet, like have videos. We think if we do this right,
dude, you're not cutting out. You're nothing today. It's awesome, man.
It's wild, isn't it?
It is.
I'm expecting something to happen and it stop working.
No, that's a good thing. It's working great.
So right now we're good. All right, so let's roll on. This week's God and Gun activities, Doug. What you been up to? Well, it's been actually about 2 weeks because I've been moving and you've been duck hunting.
Yeah, we have. I've been out in Arkansas since the Friday before Thanksgiving. We left. And I've been going ever since, but I did my devotionals every day while I was out there. Also was carrying every day. Not only was I carrying my Glock 19 on me, I had my VP9 in the truck as my truck gun, extra mags on both of those. And also, the whole week I'm carrying a shotgun. So I have my Benelli out with me too. I don't know what I would have had to done if somebody came up and actually had to pull my handgun. It wasn't coming out of them waders that easy. I'm telling you, it's you got to dig around coats and everything else to try to get in there. But I was carrying it, so I had it on. But we had a good time out there. Happy Thanksgiving, belated. I know I was out and gone, so didn't get to wish everybody happy Thanksgiving. So hopefully everybody had a good time and got plenty of turkey. I actually had my Thanksgiving dinner was at the Chinese buffet in Jonesboro, Arkansas.
That's sort of a cliche, isn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Chinese restaurant. What was that in? It was that Christmas show.
One of the vacation movies, wasn't it?
Christmas Story. Yeah. Like that.
We were actually going to go to the Cracker Barrel, and it was open. We pulled up, and it was like an hour and a half wait. And I'm like, nah, I don't want turkey that bad. I ain't worried about it. You'll have to excuse me too, because I do have some crud that I picked up when I got back to Georgia, and so I had to stay at the house today. And yesterday afternoon, the doctor put me out. I actually went to the doctor, and so I have acute sinusitis and bronchitis. So I am hacking. So if I sound funny, that's what it is. And if I don't get to the mute button quick enough, you'll know exactly what it is in a minute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't have any eardrums left, so there he goes.
There it was.
Picture.
had it muted out.
Thanks for the save, man. I appreciate it.
I'm here for you.
All right. So that's your stuff for the last 10 days?
It was.
Oh, we'll cover the rest of it here in a minute.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So my stuff, still catching up on reading. I'm only about 20 days behind now. So hopefully between now and the end of the year, I'll catch up. If not, it'll just bleed over into next year. It'll be okay.
You get it read.
I'll get it read. Let's see. I taught church Sunday before last. I taught our youth, and our youth pastor was gone on some kind of trip, business trip or something. And then I got to teach our youth again this last Wednesday. Short little devotional. It wasn't a whole lot. I got about 5 hours notice before I had to teach because our youth pastor was sick. So he's had some migraines, and so I covered for him this last Wednesday. So it was nice. I've been out of the little hole in the wall camera room for about 2.5 weeks now.
What?
Yeah, it's like a whole new world,
I
man.
know, right? You're out of the closet, so to speak.
No, not out of that closet, but out of
No,
the camera closet.
camera closet.
Camera closet. Let's see what else we do. I had been moving on the gun side, or family side, or whatever you want to call it side. For 3 weeks now. We've been moving a little bit, doing a lot of painting and repairs, and on the house we're moving to, there was just some deferred maintenance things that needed to be done. We ended up having to put a new HVAC system in the house, and painted a lot of rooms and prepped a lot of things before we moved in, cleaned carpets, things like that.
Did you tell the previous owners they need to take care of that?
Well, the previous people that were in here were renters, so they don't. How renters sometimes don't. Sometimes you got good renters. Most of the time you have people that don't care.
Right.
We had, I think it was a doctor that was living here before. He didn't really care. We found some weird stuff that I'm not going to talk about here, but we've been working on the house. Got the house ready to move into, and we've been making numerous trips back and forth from Glasgow to the undisclosed new location. So I've got enough people to have 2 concealed carry classes right now, and up here, and I don't have a range up here yet, so I've got to throw something together real quick. I'm gonna try to have one before Christmas and have one after Christmas, but time's running out of me. But this coming weekend or this next weekend, I've got the Bulwarks Advanced Pistol class. It's a 3-day class, and it's going to be at Kentucky National Guard training range. So looking forward to that, but also a little bit, I don't know, worried. I've got plantar fasciitis, or whatever you call it, in my left foot, and I've been trying to rehab that and get it fixed before this is coming up, because I'm going to be on my feet for 3 days. It's going to be maybe a little rough. And then on top of that, I saw the forecast for that weekend. It's supposed to be a high of 30 on one day. In 2 days, it's supposed to be snowing or sleeting, and it's all outdoor except for the shoot house portion of it. So I don't know how well that's going to go. Lots of layers, and hopefully survive. But that's that. If it gets too bad, I'm going to say bye, Eric. I'll see you later. I'm going home.
There you go.
I'll do my best. So that's pretty much, I mean, there's a lot in between there, but you guys probably don't hear about me. Just another, and visit the family and in-laws and outlaws and all that over the holidays. Like everyone else. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. All right, EDC check, Doug. What you got?
At the moment, believe it or not, I am not carrying anything on my person, but I am in my man room where I have the entire arsenal behind me, fired up, ready to go. As soon as I walk back out, I got my Glock laying on the end table right next to my chair, where I've been pretty much all day today covered up with a new blanket my wife bought me at Bass Pro Shop the other day. So that thing is so warm, and having this cold, it's just, man, it's so soft. I like it.
Well, good deal. Let's see. What have I been up to? I have the usual Glock 19 Gen 3 with swear slide, all the other stuff. If you guys are really hung up on knowing what I'm wearing, you can look at the show notes and it's right there. I'm not going to go into all of it because it's a lot
Hey,
of
we got
junk.
we got video today, man. Just hold her up and.
Good. I got to be
Oh,
careful. Ah. So there's the
oh,
Glock 19.
you're pointing at me.
Pointing at that camera.
Oh, that's
As
nice.
safely. It's got the Surefire XC1. Looks like it's reversed here in my picture. Light on it and RMR. It's got the big dot XS front tritium post sight. You see a big blade sticking up there. Suarez on the slide.
How do you like that?
I like it a lot.
The big dot sight, you like that?
Yeah, I like it. And I can pick them up. As my eyes are getting older, it's easier for me to pick it up. It's just it's got a white dot on the front and it's blacked out in the back. So your eye on the front sight. Of course, with the red dot on there, it's automatically drawn the red dot, but
Right.
Red dot's out or got off. I found that if I set in some chairs, that button's just at the right height to turn it down. So if I think there's one chair that I set in outside, if I lean to my right, it'll like turn down one level of lumen or whatever.
So it stays on
And
all the
so,
time, right?
yeah, it stays on all the time. You just put a new battery in every year in that way. I think it's good for like, I don't remember how many thousands of hours, but they say if you just change the battery once a year, you'll always be good. And so far, it's been 10 months so far. It's bright as the day as I put it on there. So I don't have any complaints about it. For me to pick up. Now, when I had on the Glock 17, that Gen 4 I was having trouble picking it up because it seemed like I had to rotate my wrist a little further forward with the Gen 4.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know what that was about. So I got the Gen 4 as a backup. Probably going to send that off to agency sometime next year and have it tricked out with all the stuff agency does and mold that grip in and do all that cool stuff and mods and triggers. But not this year. Moving is really expensive.
Yeah.
I got to sell my house in Glasgow. I already have two people asking, how much I want for it and all that. I'm like, dude, I ain't even ready to look at it. It's still got boxes and trash in the floors, and I got paint and drywall. And, so when you have kids and you move out, you got to go back in and repair lots of things.
So you got most of your stuff moved and everything else down there. It's like, do we really need it?
Oh yeah, we got about 90% of what I want to bring, and we got about half the house empty. So we got to get rid of a whole bunch of stuff that really is just stuff we've accumulated over the years that we should have gotten rid of a long time ago. And it has some value. And I'm fighting this microphone. You guys can probably see online. It's taking a dive on me, and I don't want to chase it all night. So I'm trying to fix it here. Hopefully, I won't make too much of a racket. But when you've moved a bunch of times and you've got those boxes that you've moved with you the last 3 times and never been open,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, what? I found one of those boxes that had a whole bunch of magazines in it. I was happy to see that.
Oh.
I got in the back of one closet and found 3 rifles I'd forgot that were there back there. I thought that they were. I thought that they were in another safe, and they weren't. And so got those out, and luckily they were in good shape. They'd been well lubricated before they were put back there. And 3,000 rounds of 223 that didn't know I had. It was still in the boxes, stacked in the back of a closet underneath boxes of shoes.
Nice.
So So as I'm throwing things away, I'm finding some good stuff. So I put those in ammo cans. I bought 10 new ammo cans a few weeks back. I mentioned nothing on here. And I've already filled 7 of them out of the ammo I found stored here, there, and everywhere. So maybe by Christmas I'll have them all filled up. Well, I got this class I'm going to. I'll probably shoot up at least one of them.
Mm-hmm. How many rounds you shoot in the class?
They say to bring in 550 rounds plus 100 rounds of your carry ammo and 50 rounds of your backup gun ammo, I think is what it said yesterday. So I got to get that all set out. I got most of everything ready to go. Ordered some cold winter gloves, some 511 gear gloves, so I can shoot with frozen hands. Hopefully not frozen hands with gloves, but if it's going to be 30 degrees and sleet and snowing, I'm going to be a miserable camper.
That's duck hunting weather.
I don't deal with the cold as much as I used to. I mean, if you're, got your hands, reaching in, pulling out. I don't know if I'm going to go with a concealment holster. I might just go outside the waistband holster if it's going to be like that. I'm not going to be wanting to pull my shirt up.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm going to put it outside the waistband. I'm going to have to find another holster because all I've been carrying the last few years is, inside the waistband crossbreeds. So I'll have to dig through my tote or two of holsters over there. Find some outside the waistband. I may have to go buy one. I don't even know if I have one for the Glock 19, especially that will fit with the RMR. I might have to check that out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I've rambled on enough. Let's go on to, you got Comedy Corner?
Comedy Corner. I read earlier. It was good. You want to do it? You want me to do it?
Yeah, well, one of our listeners sent it to us. I forgot who it was now. He's going to kill me. I thought I put his name in there. I'm sorry. I'll find out and give you credit next week. Go ahead and you read it.
So this week's Comedy Corner from an unnamed, undisclosed listener so far. A blonde and her husband. See, I already liked it. I already liked the way it starts. Chris will be mad.
My wife got really mad.
I know. A blonde and her husband were watching TV and a news flash came on. 2 Brazilian skydivers killed. News at 11. The blonde started crying hysterically. Her husband asked her, "What's wrong?" She replied, "How many is 2 Brazilian?"
That's funny joke, but my wife sent me a text in the middle of the week. She says, "You can't use that joke." I'm like, "Why?" She says, "Because there was a plane of Brazilian soccer players that crashed and died this week."
Yeah, they did.
I was like, "Well, sorry." But yeah,
it wasn't 2 Brazilian.
It wasn't 2 Brazilian soccer players. It was 76 of them, I think, or 75 of them.
Yeah, that's rough, man. Kind of reminded me of Marshall when their plane went down. The football team got killed.
Yeah.
What was that was back in, 70 or 71, something like that?
Yeah. Maybe earlier than that. Maybe in the 60s. I don't know. I guess it was 70s because we were, I guess.
I think it was 70. I think it's when it was.
Yeah. It was late 60s, early 70s. I can't remember. I remember seeing a movie about it.
Yeah, We Are Marshall. It's an awesome movie.
So we'll get some feedback. Is that my feedback or your feedback?
You put that one in.
It's our feedback. It says, "Hey guys, I heard on your last podcast that you wanted to hear and see how our hunts are going an opening morning in Lanesburg, Michigan." Do we ever read this one? Seems like maybe I read this one.
I don't know.
I'll go ahead and read it. I don't know. I got a nice size 6 at 8 a.m. opening day for squinting and really hard looking at this because I've got the screen minimized so I can do a hangout on one side, my notes on the other. So normally I'm not having this hard time of reading this, but it says I still have a few more days to film a tag. I think we already did this one. Head back to Iowa. Hoping for a few more. Love listening to you guys. Yeah, maybe we already did this one.
That's all right though.
Jim Lee. Yeah, picture a nice buck. A new
He's
one.
out. He's out hunting.
Yeah. Do you have any feedback?
I did not this week.
I didn't look at iTunes, so we really are just sort of flying by the seat of our pants. Doug's sick. I've just moved into into a bunker, and yeah, I got internet, and I'm excited
With
about
nice internet.
with nice internet. Thank goodness, and thank God. And our show notes are really hammered up. So we're
Hey,
gonna.
on a good note today though, my buddy Rick that lives up in um, Tennessee, he has become a bow hunting machine. He finally got a
Ooh.
real bow. He got rid of that crossbow he had. Bought a Matthews, and he killed his first deer with it 2 weeks ago, something like that. Nice little buck. And he texted me pictures earlier tonight. He killed another big body deer. He had a messed up rack on one side, but he was a 5 point on one side, and the other side was a little scraggy. It looked like he might have, you know. I've heard a lot of people say when their antlers don't match and they're really messed up on one side, that deer has either had an injury or something when he was younger, and it's always going to be that way. So he took a nice cold buck, but he shot him with his bow. So anytime you kill a deer with a bow, that's a feat. So he just sent me pictures a little while ago of his kill. So when you listen to this week, Rick, congratulations.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, give us some feedback. I know everybody's busy with hunting seasons going on and everything else going on, but we appreciate the feedback. And we may have got more feedback than we've got on this show today. I apologize if I haven't gotten to you. And so, several people have bought things in this transition period, and so those mailed today, or I took them out to be mailed today, so they might be picked up tomorrow. But I actually got my printer hooked up, and I got all the inventory sorted where I could get to it. So I've thrown several packages to get today in the mail. So they'll be out to you Christmas for sure. And
Nice.
if you haven't ordered stocking stuffers, we still have lots of patches and stickers, and I can find other things if I need to. All right. So our weekly Bible verses. We need to keep rolling because Doug's gonna lose his voice if I don't keep rolling here. Weekly Bible verses this week's coming from Psalms 32, and I'm just gonna read the whole thing. It's not that long. Blessed is the one whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. Blessed is the man against whom the Lord counts no iniquity, and whose spirit there is no deceit. For when I kept silent, my bones wasted away through my groaning all day long. And right now, my neck is out, and so I've got arms and contractions, and so if you see me wiggle my arm, you'll know what it's about. It's back neck pain. For day and night, your hand was heavy upon me. My strength was dried up as by the heat of summer. I acknowledged my sin to you, and I did not cover my iniquity. I said, I will confess my transgressions to the Lord, and you forgave the iniquity of my sin. Who is godly, offer prayer to you at a time when you may be found. Surely in the great rush of waters, they shall not reach him. You are a hiding place for me. You preserve me from my trouble. You surround me with shouts of deliverance. I will instruct you the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. And be not like a horse or a mule without understanding, which must be curbed with a bit and bridle, or it will not stay near you. Many are the sorrows of the wicked, but the steadfast love surrounds the one who trusts in the Lord. Be glad in the Lord and rejoice, a righteous joy, all you upright of heart. So, of course, this is, and David is just, he's pretty much remembering how God had forgiven him. Most scholars tend to think that he's recounting the Bathsheba adulterous relationship he had, and having him cover up his sin, having him brought home, and then having him put out in front in battle and pretty much murdered. Well, he was murdered at David's command. The task on that, and when he was called to task on that, he did repent, uh, and he did have penalty for sin. I mean, the child of that arrangement died, and so David had a lot of guilt, a lot of remorse, a lot to be remorseful over, a lot to be thankful for God's grace about. So as we go through verses here, you can see that God had called him not to be like this, but he did those things. And so when it was brought to his attention, when he was reminded of it, the prophet came to him and said, "Hey, you can't be doing this." And came up and said, "What would you do to someone did that?" And he said, "Well, he would be dead." So he said, "So this is what you've done." And then he was like, "Oh." A lot of times you can hide from your sin with yourself, but if you've got a good friend or a good godly person who you trust in, they can look at the outside and say, "Hey, man, you got some problems you need to work on. You need to get
Accountability
this sin out of
partners.
your life." Accountability partners. You need someone that is bold enough and loves you enough to say, "Hey, you guys, you're blind in this area here. Having an adulterous relationship and having her husband killed off, that what God would want you to do." And I'm not being flippant about it. I mean, but people, the king sort of gets away with a lot of stuff, right? The more powerful, the more is forgiven, as we can see with Hillary. um, they tend to get away with things that the rest of us couldn't get away with.
Yeah.
Um, So, everyone needs an accountability partner. And God is everyone's accountability partner at the end, right? He's going to judge you for those sins that you've not confessed and not asked forgiveness for and things. So, you need to make sure that you are confessing daily. You're staying in a righteous walk with God. As I was teaching to the youth, I'm like, I said, I was up to like 3 o'clock in the morning because I had all these things I need to get done on this list of things that I had to, it was in my head. It wasn't on paper. And so I'm up trying to go to sleep, and it's like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I can't sleep. I'm thinking about, I got to do this. I got to do this. Got to do this. And I'm thinking, stupid, get up, get you a notepad and write it down. I went over, sit down on the couch and, start right now, and after about 60 things I needed to do, I was done. I wrote it all down, and I was like, "Oh wow!" And so when I was writing these things down, other things started coming to mind, and it was like, "Oh wow, I need to ask that person to forgive me." And because I've been just running roughshod, trying to get this done as quick as I can, so I've been ignoring what me to do, and we've been missing things that we normally would be doing because we're running wide open trying to get moved before Christmas gets here and all that, and just all the other things going on. So some of my friends have not heard from me, and some things that I should have gotten done, I haven't because I've just put other things in different priorities. Your life on daily walk. I mean, there are times that you get busy and you don't spend time with God. And for a season, do that, but at some point you get a list like I had, 60 things that you're behind on and you need to get serious about and put it in your to-do list and then work through it. And as I've been working through my to-do list this week, I just realized, there's more things you need to add to the list, to take things off. Well, same thing with God. In front of your sin, you need to confess it. You need to stay plugged in scripture. You need to pray and have a regular set schedule every day so that you don't get all that. Because what happens is you'll get guilt over that junk. And then you won't want to be around godly people because you won't feel godly because you've not confessed your sin and you've let it go and let it go and let it go, and then certainly you're out of the church, and you're out of communication with God. That's not what He wants. So confess your sins, like David, and move on. And then as we go on through the verses here, you can see that David starting to give instruction to us, right? So he's teaching us now 4,000 some years ago. He wrote this down for us, right? So we can learn from it. His problems, his mistakes, and those things that he did. God gave him these words to give to us, and so don't let sin build up in your life. Become blind to it. Have accountability partners, and stay in the Scripture, because and trust in God. I mean, there's been times the last 2 weeks, guys. I mean, especially right before the election, I was just like, God, I'm just giving it all to you. I'm turning it all over to you. Not like that I was able to affect anything, but you get to the point in this last election, you're like, yeah, if she wins, and even though he's won, it feels like he hadn't won yet, because he hadn't been confirmed with electoral votes yet. So it feels like it's sort of still out there somewhere, But that's the verses this week. Psalms 32, the whole chapter, just 11 verses there, and it's a good Thanksgiving verse. It's a good maintenance verse for a Christian to go through and realize through how He has given you grace, and how you need to be thankful and praise Him for that. And on the other hand, you also need to make sure you're cleaning things out, and you're keeping yourself accountable, and you're being accountable to your accountability partner, be that your spouse or another guy. If you're a guy that has a prayer partner and things like that, that you're being accountable to them, and you're holding them accountable. It's for their good, right? So that they won't be deceived by the devil and drug away.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if y'all have any questions about that, you can send me some feedback. You got anything, Doug? You want to follow up on that?
Sorry, I muted you here for a second. I'm coughing.
You're choking out. Well, I'm going to go ahead and talk about how they can help the show out before we jump into yours, so you can get you another drink.
Yeah, I'm good.
Good. Patreon. We had, as you guys know, we had several people that have asked us to get a Patreon account so they can support the show. We really appreciate that, and we've had several really generous people step forward, and we appreciate those sponsors through Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/God and Guns if you would like to contribute as much as you want. T-shirts, we've got small through extra large. I think I've sold out of extra larges. No, I've found 6 more. Sold out of 2 extra larges, and I've got some orders should be in within a week. We've got 2X's through 4X's. And so the small through extra large are 20, and the 2 and through the 4X is 24. That includes your shipping.
What a bargain.
I've got the bumper stickers. They're about, and they cost me $3, and so I pretty much just sell them for, I think, $3.50 to cover the postage. So I'll put a stamp in an envelope and throw it in the mail to you, or if you buy it with something else. So, then we got the patches. The patches are the big sellers, the Velcro patches, and they come with a backer. So if you don't have if you want to put it on something, you can sew it onto existing clothing, wherever, or if you've got a patch hat, or wherever, you can stick it on there.
I gave mine away the other day. Somebody saw it on my hat, and they're like, "Hey, man, that's cool." I'm like, "Yeah, I had a few that I'd gotten recently from you, and I had one on my own hat, had it up there, and this guy was looking at it, he goes, "Man, that's a cool patch." I said, "Yeah, it's a podcast show a buddy of mine and I do," and got talking about it, and next thing you know, he was looking it up on his phone, and he's like, "I'm gonna start listening." I just reached up and pulled it off, like, "Here you go. Hey, now you got a patch."
That's cool.
So now I got to replace mine.
Get one out in the mail to you. So the patches those are $12.50. That includes the shipping, and I don't know, we've got 30 or 40 left. I'll have to look my inventory. I don't know exactly out of that first run. And so when I get down to about 20, I'll probably put another order in. So that's pretty much that. Main topic, of course, is Doug and his duck hunting experience. Take it away.
Oh man, I wish you could have been there, dude. You would love it. We started out the week. We left Georgia on Friday morning, bright and dark. Actually, dark 30
Oh, dark
in the
30.
morning. Oh, dark 30, and headed out. Of course, we had to stop at the Bass Pro Shop in Memphis at the Pyramid and check it out again. Bought some shells and stuff, but we rolled in, met our friends that we were going to be hunting we started out the first part of the week hunting in a pit blind in Jonesboro, Arkansas, that I'm in a lease in, and we did pretty good. It was warm. The ducks really weren't. It was hit or miss on whether the ducks wanted to be in the field or not. But it was pretty cool. There's a guy that does my taxidermy work here in Byron, Georgia, which is a little town right over by the interstate. He does my taxidermy work on my ducks and stuff. Well, he's got a guy that works for him named Clint. So we're out there in Jonesboro, Arkansas at the Super 8 Motel, and lo and behold, I look, and here comes Clint walking down the hallway. I was like, well, all right. So he's out there. He goes out there, and I knew he guided. I just didn't know where or when or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So he was out there guiding during the week, and we were talking to those guys. He's like, oh, man, we're on the birds. We got birds everywhere. So I talked to him a couple of days later. I'm like, well, how'd you do? He said, well, first 2 days, he said, I killed 6 ducks in the blind that we're hunting on the field.
Uh-huh.
I said, ooh. I said, that ain't good. He said, yeah. He said, I'm moving in the morning. He moved to another field and wound up shooting them. They were there on that field.
Yeah.
So the one we were on, we saw a lot of birds. We shot several. We did all right. Yeah. The last couple of days it slowed down. The temperature just was not cold enough up north to keep pushing birds down.
Yeah.
So Wendy and Tiffany and Zoe drove out Thanksgiving morning, and we hunted. My brother came down, and my buddy Sean, and they hunted in Jonesboro with us Wednesday and Thursday. So Thursday morning we got up, Thanksgiving, went hunting, come out, went to a Chinese restaurant, got us some Chinese Thanksgiving, and headed down to Stuttgart, Arkansas. Met my wife and daughter, and we hooked up down there. But we hunted Friday and Saturday and I'm going to give these guys a shout out, Lacotte's Guide Service. And they're actually in a little town called Crockett's Bluff. If you're looking for a guide in Arkansas, give these guys a call, man. We had such a good time down there with those guys. Ducks everywhere. Man, I worked Ella. She worked her hind end off all week with us. And a bunch of good guys. We were calling, shooting, and we were shooting greenheads, the mallards. Mm-hmm. And that's what I go to Arkansas for. Because you just can't imagine. We're sitting in the blind. We start calling. I see 2 ducks coming down the river. Mm-hmm. And I start calling to them. Well, they'll turn and they'll go behind the blind, make a little circle around. When they come back around, instead of 2, now there's 8 of them. It's like, well, where'd they come from? So they'll swing out around the front of the blind. You'll call them. They'll turn and go the other way and make another swing around the back. When they drop out this time, there's 20 of them. And it's like, man, they just keep stacking up and stacking up and stacking up. And then there's nothing prettier than watching them jokers when they come in, they commit and they cup them wings down and just all of them drop in the hole at the same time. And then just before they start, I call it backpedaling. They start backpedaling so they can touch the water real nice and soft. And you yell, kill them, and just start waylaying. And it was raining greenheads. It was so pretty. You got to go with me sometime.
Yeah, I know. Got to make it over there. This year I'm moving and I got other things already scheduled, but I'll make it out there. So how many ducks did y'all end up with?
I think for the entire week, I think we wound up shooting about 60 or a little over.
Wow.
So we didn't do
That's a lot
too
of duck.
bad, too terrible. Yeah, it wasn't too terrible bad. We shot 38 the last 2 days. So
Wow.
yeah, that was quite. I'm telling you, man, it was funny. It was so good that, and I learned a valuable lesson too. You never leave the blind without your gun in your hand, ever. I learned it the hard way. So we had a little volley of ducks come around, and we killed 3 of them, and they were laying on the water. So I sent Ella to go pick the forest one up that was across the little slough. So she runs out. She's swimming across the opening to go get that one. There's one laying closer, so I walked out in the water to go get it. I picked it up. I'm watching her come back across to me, and she brings it to me, and I take it from her, and I send her back into the blind, and she gets back up in there, and just as I'm walking back up, there's a 13-year-old boy that's in the blind with us, and he had got out of the blind. His granddad let him get down because there was a duck laying out in front of him, so he was just going to go out there and pick it up. So he gets out there. All of a sudden, one of the guys says, "Ducks." So I kind of look up, and man, we're covered up with ducks again. So I'm standing in the wide open, right out in the middle of the water. So there's a little bitty tree there, so I just kind of moved up next to it, and I start calling. And I told the little boy's name was Trey. I said, "Trey, don't move." So I started calling. I got my head down, and I'm calling on the call, and I'm trying to look up, and I see these ducks circling. They're just coming around, coming around. This big old greenhead mallard comes down, and he is right across in front of me, and is coming down to the light on the water, and he actually lit. I look back at the blind. I'm like, "You guys are seriously going to tell me that you're going to let that duck land on the water without shooting it?" And they didn't even see the duck. They're like, "Where's he at?" I said, I yelled over that little boy. I said, "Trey," I said, "You see that duck land on the water?" "Yes, sir." I said, "Can you kill him?" Bam! He lit him up. So got Ella back out in the water again, sent her back across, and she went and picked that one up. Everybody's like, "Man, we were watching these other ones where we didn't even see those come in." I was like, "Man, it's fast and furious, man. They're just ducks everywhere."
Cool.
They come across the top. You're calling to them as they come across. They're quacking at you. They're up high and they're quacking down back at you. And it's the coolest thing because they almost growl sound when they're up there. They come across and they're just like, just kind of give you a growl as they go by. They're so much fun. You can talk to them.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've had a lot of geese up here recently coming through. I don't know where they're coming from or where they're heading to, but we've had quite a few geese come through here.
There was a lot of geese down in Arkansas. They get a lot of snows, speckled belly geese. You don't see a whole lot of Canadian geese down there. It's all specks and snow geese. But you pull up on a field and you look out across there, and the whole field, it looks like a cotton field, and it ain't. It's a wheat field. But there's so many snow geese sitting on it, and I've seen. You see the big V's come over the house and stuff. Might have 50, 60 geese in it. I'm talking 15 or 20,000 geese sitting on one little field picking the rice out. As they go across, tearing it up.
Gosh. Yeah. When I was out in Montana, out in Billings, there would be just fields of geese just sitting out there going through the cropland, just out there digging through it. And I was like, man, I mean, that many birds. I mean, just think about the weight. You're talking about tons of food out there, just walking around right there. I mean, it was thicker than like cattle in the cattle fields. I just never seen so many birds in one spot.
The guys I hunted with, I've shot a couple snow geese, or not snows, but speckled bellies. But usually the guys I was hunting with took them. I didn't care nothing about them, whatever. And but the guys I hunted with this time, they're like, they would rather eat a speckled belly goose over any other duck, mallards or anything else. And I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, the breast is so big you can almost butterfly it when you cut it.
Yeah.
And they're like, you put some jalapeno and some cheese and stuff in there and wrap that in bacon and grill them. And they're like, it's just like a filet mignon. You can't tell the difference in it and a steak. I'm like, really?
You could take a turtle, wrap it in bacon and cheese and jalapenos. It tastes like
It's
flavor.
going to be good. It's going to be good. So I'm anxious to see. I think tomorrow night we're having duck fajitas.
Oh, that sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully I do a good job and get all the shot out of them. I have been down.
Dental work done, huh?
Yeah, that steel shot don't bite down too good. But I tell you, I had I was sighted in pretty well. I was shooting fairly well this week. I had the Benelli rocking pretty good, and I started shooting some different shells. Me and Alex stopped when we were at Bass Pro Shop. First trip last week, we picked up a case of shells. They had shells on sale, and we picked up 10 boxes of heavy steel. It's a goose load, a duck load, and we were shooting number twos. I think we wound up picking them up for $172, and then we split them. So that's 5 boxes a piece. Just 10 in a case. And I shot those pretty much all week, and I kind of liked them. They shot really well. Most of them I shoot that blindside ammo, number twos. But and I had some in my bag, but I was shooting that heavy steel. You get a little bit more shot in the ones we were shooting, and it's a little bit more powder in it. So the speed coming out of it was a little faster. So it worked.
12 gauge, 3.5 inch.
I'm too old to shoot that 3.5 inch all day long.
So
I shoot a 3 inch. But with that Benelli, you don't even pay attention to it. That inertia driven,
Yeah.
The only time I ever have any problem was if I come out, try to pop up through the blind, and I don't have it anchored real good in my shoulder. How sometimes you'll catch it off the side of your arm or something as you're shooting.
Yeah.
When you pull the trigger with an inertia-driven system, if you don't have a good backstop on the back of the gun, it won't eject the shell right. And I learned that because I thought my Benelli was tore up. And a couple of years ago, and the guy's like, yeah, you ain't getting it on your shoulder good. I was like, well, I don't know. But you're twisting, trying to, you're sitting in a boat or something. You're trying to shoot up over and behind you.
Yeah.
And you probably don't have it very good on your shoulder.
Right.
But as long as you hold on that joker, it'll shoot every time. No problem.
Cool.
So check this out. I got into a little bit of a debate with a lady at the Bass Pro Shop. I was buying some stuff, and Bass Pro Shop there on specific days, and that was that week we were there, they were giving 10% military discount. I was like, okay. So I put some items up on there, and she rang it up, and I was like, well, that didn't give me a 10% discount on that. She said, well, it was on sale. I was like, so? She said, well, we don't give the 10% because it's already on sale. I said, but you're giving a military discount for 10%. Oh, yeah, we do that on everything except ammo. Okay. So why can't I get it on that? She said, well, it's already on sale. I said, well, if somebody came in here to the store and bought that exact same item that was not in the military, they buy it for the exact same price I did. And she's like, and? I said, so where's your military discount? Well, it's already discounted. I'm like, whatever, just keep it. She never did get it.
Yeah.
I didn't either. So.
Yeah. That's the way it is. Some stores are that way. Some stores aren't. Speaking of which, on discounts, I ordered some shooting glasses this week because the glasses I've got, prescription glasses for shooting pretty much and driving. They're not readers, but so when I go to these shooting classes, sometimes they require you to have a wraparound. They don't like me to wear these. They want something that wraps totally around. These pretty much cover me real well, but they want to have the wings to come up. So I went and ordered some just in case I have trouble with this class.
DeVore?
But they're VFOB. They're one of the VFOB members. And I don't have their name in front of me. Forgive me. I'll week again, but it's got a reader magnification at the top. So when you're shooting, it lines up with your sights. So if if you're using red dot or you're using, you're shooting, sometimes your sights are fuzzy when you get older and you go up to look at your sight and it's fuzzy and the background's fuzzy and everything's fuzzy. if you put on readers and you set them up like this and look, you can see your front sight good. Well, these are set up with the reader at the very top. So when you're using a scope or when you're using your pistol, they line up.
Really?
Set on order, and the VFob discounts 15%. So if you're a VFob lifetime member, or I think even if you're a monthly, I think maybe a monthly member or annual member, I guess it's annual member, not monthly member. Annual member, I think, is like 10%, and then like the lifetime is 15%. So I got the 15% discount on that this week. I'll let y'all know more about them once I got them in. They're supposed to be here in time for the class, so I'll let y'all know more about how they turn out and how they do and all that.
Nice.
And we're going to have Tom's going to be on the show, probably next week's show. We'll have Tom. I don't know if he goes by Tom Montana or his real name, but it's a lot of the VFob ammunition sales and things like that. So we'll probably have him on next week's show if everything goes well. No. And if he's willing to come on Google Hangout, I don't know if he'll do that. He may want to keep his identity secret. We have to have a little blacked out talks.
Put him on a black sheet or something.
Yeah. Well, thanks for telling us about your duck hunting experience. We'll go on and we mentioned a few ways by picking up some of the products. You can join the NRA. Even though the election's over, we still need NRA supporters to keep on fighting every day for our Second Amendment rights. And just something about New Jersey they're going to have where you have to have some kind of special card to be able to go to the gun range and shoot a gun, and it has to, and everybody that touches the gun has to have a special approved card. And
isn't that ridiculous?
It's just stupid. They don't have any right to restrict your Second Amendment rights. I mean, that they're inalienable. They can't take those away from you. Even if you want to give them up, you can't give them up because they pre-existed the government, and they all exist even after the government's gone. You just have to stand up, guys, and use the NRA to fight that fight for you, because you can't be there in Washington reading every bill and talking to those senators and representatives day in and day out. So it's a really, really reasonable amount for annual membership, and that will save you $10 if you use our link in our show notes here or on our website. DVOR, if you purchase, if you go use our link, go there and sign up and purchase something, they'll send us a little bit of love. DVOR link is on our site and notes as well. Cross and Dot Optics is our new sponsor. They have offered to give us a little bit of money every time you guys buy something. So use that link on our show notes or on our website, and you will save a little bit of money, maybe. We hope, and they will and send us a little bit along the way.
I need to get Jeff to actually call me, because I'm looking for a new Vortex scope for one of my ARs.
I'm wanting to get a Vortex Aura and VCOG, but yeah, I like the Vortexes too. They're really nice.
Yeah, I can't.
So
is it an ACOG?
VCOG. The VCOG and the HD Razor Vortex are pop. $18, something like that, for a quick zoom. It's a cool scope, but that's on the back burner for now. Kind of the things I gotta get that range built, so I can start having some more classes. Shot Reporter, they've got the new 4.1 out, and we need to get John back on here to tell us all about the new advancements in laser activated shot reporter. You can go at lasrapp.com, GANDG, get 10% discount, and they send us a little bit of love. Hoplite Armor, they sell all kinds of soft and hard armor, rifle, pistol, soft armor, helmets, shields. If you want to buy just a shield so you can stand behind it and defend your house or whatever, you can buy that. Take the next two if you can breathe.
Frog Lube, the green, minty fresh, non-petroleum based lubricant for your guns. I had it out in Arkansas this week. My gun was horrible every day because I'll sit on the end of the duck blind next to my dog who was in the water constantly coming out mud, and my black gun looked like it was camoed by the end of the day. And every day it was frog lubed. It got zero rust, no problems, and I never had a single failure. Shoot, never had a single failure shooting. I'm trying, man. It hits me, man. I can't stop it. But it's a great product. I talked to Larry today, and he is going to get us some Frog Lube Extreme coming his way. So
I need that Frog Lube Extreme.
yeah, you fix to get cold. I know we've had some people up north ask me about it too, for shooting pheasant and different stuff, and so Larry's going to get us some out. So we will have some Frog Lube, as Paul Markle says, Extreme, and we'll get it out and see what we can do with it. I'm anxious to try it out too. Next week, if I get to go back to the opener after the split of duck season in Arkansas next week, which I may go. My wife don't know yet, but I may go anyway. I may be back out there with my buddy and go hunt again. I think the high is supposed to be in the 30s. And it's supposed to be down in the low 20s at night. I'm like, yeah, baby, that's duck weather right there. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you'll be duck hunting. I'm gonna be taking a 3D pistol course.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the coldest week of the year.
I will be duck hunting somewhere next weekend. I guarantee it. I think it's next weekend. It's back open. Either way, whatever.
Tennessee, that kind of weather.
Tennessee
will be getting ducks in that. I said Tennessee will be getting ducks in that kind of weather. Mm-hmm. Maybe even Georgia.
Yeah. We might have some. We might have something down here other than a wood duck. So, anyway, Frog Lube. Go out and check them out. FrogLube.com. Use the promo code God and Guns. Get 10% discount on your order when you check out. Also, Crossbreed holsters. If you are carrying a gun on your person, you need to be securing it to you with a Crossbreed holster. There is no holster any more comfortable than a Crossbreed holster. I have a Super Tuck. I have a Mini Tuck. I have the Freedom Carry. I have the Belly Band. What else do we have? We have several.
We got the.
I don't have an appendix carry because it just wouldn't do no good to carry anything appendix carry on me. I'm just not. I'm not set up for that.
Yeah, we got the Gideon. We got the pocket holsters. We got the Freedom Carries, Mini Tuck.
The bedside backup.
Super Tuck, the bedside backup, the Belly Band. Yeah.
If you need to attach a gun to anything, Crossbreed Holster makes a holster for you. Go check those guys out, crossbreedholsters.com, and show them some love and help them out because they help us out. They're a Christian-based organization. They support us and we support them. So go check them out.
Remember Carol this week too. Her father passed away.
Oh yeah, no, we're sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
and our prayers go out to them.
Week, so he was pretty young too. He wasn't all that old. He's a pretty young guy. Yep. All right, so NRA armed citizen, Doug, what you got?
Let's see. This week, man shoots 2 armed men who tried to rob him at an ATM, police say. This comes to us from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. A man shot 2 would-be robbers early Thursday at an ATM in Homewood, according to Pittsburgh police. The 42-year-old man told police he was using the ATM on North Homewood Avenue shortly after 1 a.m. when 2 masked 16-year-olds with guns approached him and tried to rob him. Police said he pulled out his own gun and shot one of the would-be robbers in the leg and the other in the stomach. the man who was not injured had a license to carry the firearm. The victim happened to have a weapon that he is licensed to carry, and he used it to defend himself in the situation. Police spokesman Sonia Toller said both the would-be robbers were taken to the hospital in stable condition. Police recovered the teenagers' guns at the scene. Charges against them are pending. That comes to us from WPXI in Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh, my bad.
Cool.
But so tell me right now, how two 16-year-olds would get a gun, Troy? Did they do it at a loophole at a gun show?
I think the NRA gives them to them
when they become members.
They just they become a member online on the NRA, and they mail them a gun.
Oh wait, you can buy them online and have them shipped right to your house. Remember that?
Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the way every other criminal gets them. They steal them, or they take them from somebody, or they borrow them from someone that should know better.
I like the way they say in the article too that the victim had a license to carry, but they didn't say anything about the two 16-year-old thugs being illegal and carrying a gun.
Well, you know how that goes.
I do.
Innocent people are proven guilty, and guilty people are proven innocent. All right, so
he needs to make it to the range. He needs to make it to the range though, because they're standing at an ATM machine, and he shot one of them in the leg and one of them in the stomach. Come on now, we need some gun control.
Yeah, well, he hit both of them. That's most shots fired from police don't hit anybody.
Well, true.
Was it like what the actually hit the people they're shooting at? So hitting two people with one gun without running out of bullets is pretty good. Yeah, for most people, not for me. I don't. There's a lawyer attached to every bullet that goes flying out of your gun. So make sure your shots count. That's why I'm going to this class to learn how to shoot better. Even though I've been shooting for 40.
Hey, I can't remember if the last show we did, if I brought this up for NRA Armed Citizen, I may have, but did you see it? I can't remember if I talked about it or not. Anyway, we're going to talk about it for 1 second. But the guy jumped on the police officer and was fighting with him, and the armed citizen comes up and pulls his gun, and the police officer's screaming, "Shoot him! Shoot him! Shoot him!" And he did.
I think we used that on the last show. Yeah.
I read so many of those. I can't remember which ones we talk about, which ones we don't.
Yeah, there's a lot that comes through here between here and Facebook. Anything else, Doug?
All good, man. I'm glad we're back. It's been too long. I've missed you.
I know, man. But you've been having fun, except for being sick the last 3 days or so.
I know, but hey, you know what? I'd take that for 3 or 4 days if I could go to Arkansas on 10 days at a whack.
You were get healed up so you can go back.
I will.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this thing up. You can send your feedback to Troy at GodandGunsPodcast.com or
Doug at GodandGunsPodcast.com.
Tell your friends about us. Leave us an iTunes review and like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/God and Guns Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at God and Guns Pod. You can search for us on Instagram and search for us on MeWe. Our website is GodandGunsPodcast.com. Until next time, have a blessed week, Doug.
Keep your guns close, but keep your Bible closer. We got a wrap.